in jail. We'd have to pay close attention to every episode of the Magic School Bus ever. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to binge watch an entire children's series. But what if I did? What if I did watch every Magic School Bus episode? So chances are this video is gonna be really long. I'm gonna force myself not to blabber on for too long during the intro. In fact, I'll put a timestamp on screen for when the intro ends, so you can get straight to the meat. But for those who are still here, some of you know that I released a video back in March explaining that I needed people to help me with my final Ms. Frizzle video. But as it turns out, nobody wants to watch every episode of the Magic School Bus for some reason. So after weeks of no one saying anything, I just took down the video. And nobody cared. And when no one else wants to do it, I guess I have to do it. Lazily. So I'm not gonna explain every episode thoroughly like I did in part 3 of this series, because that would be a nightmare for both you and me. The existence of that video also eliminates us from watching season 1, since I already watched all of those episodes. But now, after months of our brain cells dying, me and my sister present to you, watching every Magic School Bus episode for no reason. So let's get started. So for some reason I decided to watch Gets Eaten from season 1. But to sum it up, I basically concluded that she's manipulating their minds, and the Frizz is probably on something. And there was also an adult guy in the calling segment that looked suspiciously like Carlos. But we'll get to that later. In season 2 episode 1 they kind of just learn about volcanoes. Ms. Frizzle yeets them in the ocean and they literally go into a frickin' underwater volcano. They leave Arnold and Carlos alone for something and Arnold literally hallucinates Dorothy Ann. Yeah, he's probably traumatized. In one episode Ms. Frizzle forces them to smell poop. And I think this is so the kids can get used to the smell of decomposition, like dead bodies. In what I believe is season 2 episode 2 she forces the children to wash the bus. She eats them in on a field trip. And okay, are we just ignoring the fact that she never makes them sign permission forms? I'm sorry, but is that even legal? They randomly find a guy in the alley that wants to teach them about muscles or something. I could go on about how weird this other guy is and stuff, but I'm already running out of time here. So let's move on. In season 2 episode 3, she sends them back 67 million years in the past with a dino egg they aren't supposed to break. And they get chased by dinosaurs and crap. I don't even have to explain this. I mean, if this isn't almost killing the children, then I just. Season 2 episode 4. I had talked about this one in the other video I made, but they become bats and stuff, and she totally leaves the children behind during all of that. And she knew it the whole time I guess. I'm not gonna watch season 2 episode 5. They look like they just almost get crushed by a giant caterpillar or something. I dunno, I don't care. Wet all over. Season 2 episode 6. This is the episode where they become clouds. She gets them lost in frickin' London. And they aren't even experiencing G-force whenever they become raindrops. And while I didn't write down exactly why, I did say that the time between London and wherever they were was wrong. What else do you expect from this show? But yeah, nothing much. Just more chaos. So season 2 episode 7. A repairman wants to throw the magic school bus away after it has acid on the paint and stuff, but gets forced on their field trip. Probably because Ms. Frizzle just feels like killing another today, you know. Anyway, a bunch of crap happens. They go in gas. The guy almost dies. Yeah. Moving on. Season 2 episode 8. This one has a lot to do with Wanderley and planes. Carlos is the only reasonable one here. And Ms. Frizzle says something weird. A bird on the branch is better than two on the ranch. Yeah. The ranch she's gonna kill you on. But yeah, this episode's boring. All they really do is just crash planes and yell at each other or something. But season 2 episode 9 is where things get interesting. I'm gonna explain this one a little more in depth. Dorothy Ann had a Ms. Frizzle nightmare. She sees an asteroid in the air and they go in space and destroy the asteroid and stuff. Of course they do it with absolute safety. But towards the end, it's nighttime. My question is how their parents aren't concerned about them. Oh, and also whenever they are in space, they dress in a very questionable style. Look, I'm kinda just basing this off my extremely helpful notes here. Moving on, I guess. Season 2 episode 10, Cold Feet. This one is cursed. There's this whole background plot with Liz and stuff. And while Ms. Frizzle is teaching them to do stupid things, really all they end up doing is becoming cursed lizards. One notable thing is that at the end she said, "I was going to tell you, but I like for you guys to figure things out for yourself." As we dive into season 3, let's take a little break. I ended up on the Magic School Bus wiki for some reason, and I was able to find the first Magic School Bus book. Based off of the description, I feel like this could potentially be helpful, but I'm too lazy to ask my mom to order it from the library, so I'll have to find an alternative way to do it. That's right, a read aloud. So I found this lady who read the book aloud in this video.
Good evening, Woodbury families. My name is Susan Birding. I am the 7th grade science teacher.
This was probably a lesson for some school or something, but I'll take it.
It is my privilege to share with you tonight the adventures of one of my favorite literary characters, Miss Frizzle and her magic school bus.
Oh. Are you a murder too? She kind of explains what I've already explained. She's very stern about everything.
Here because I particularly want you to be able to see the artwork that was created in this book. There's a lot of science that's in the illustrations. And boys and girls, I want you to take the time and look at the pictures because they tell a whole lot of this story as well.
You hear that, guys? We need to pay close attention to the artwork. Susan
particularly
told us to, so I don't know what's more scary. The fact that she's yelling at me, or the fact that she spelled bus with 2 S's despite being a teacher. So the story is kind of explained like Ms. Frizzle was the weird teacher at the school, and it's from the perspective of the children. It doesn't explain much, but something I noticed is that they seem to realize that this is weird. Maybe Ms. Frizzle messed with their minds after this. She also pretends like nothing happened after their lesson. But as Susan
particularly
said, we need to look at the pictures. Now these are probably much more useful in an educational setting. but the children in the book are saying really weird things like "I want my mommy." Something I also noticed in the illustrations are that these aren't really scuba outfits. I mean, the boys are literally just wearing speedos. That's quite an awkward lesson, Ms. Frizzle. But yeah, moving on. Oh, this next one is good. They become bees in this one. It starts off with Ms. Frizzle being inappropriate and saying, "Did someone call me honey?" And yeah.
Yeah, and you're a Phoebe. And you're a Frisbee.
Season 3 Episode 2. This one is about heat. Ms. Frizzle takes them to the frickin' Arctic or something, and they try and find different ways of getting warm. They eventually settle on seal fat or something, and do exercises in it. This is very normal. Moment of interest. This kid at the end says he was in Ms. Frizzle's class last year. Then how is he alive? I'll just stick this in my things for later folder, and pretend like my whole theory isn't possibly falling apart. Spins a web is very interesting. They go into a 1950s horror movie after watching it very safely. Yeah, they could totally fall off that bus and die. Anyway, this horror movie has a giant praying mantis. And you can only guess that this ends well. Ms. Frizzle doesn't care. The next few episodes are stupid and boring. And okay, I feel like I've blabbered on enough for today. I don't want this to be too long, so I'll split this into a part 2. We'll start where we left off, and I guess the next one will be the finale. And yes, we'll finally figure out that Arnold stuff. Anyway, I'll let Susan do the outro.
Boys and girls, if you enjoyed Miss Frizzle's adventures, please let me know so I can come on another night and read you another story from Miss Frizzle and her adventures in the Magic School Bus. Have a good evening.